Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope y'all are doing well. Today I'll talk about how you can store images in your app backend. At first, we're going to talk about how you can write and store the image in your backend. And then we'll talk about how you can take in the image that you stored and display it back to your user in your front-end application. The first thing we're going to look at is how you take the image from the user and store it in your backend. The first step is going to be to take in the file input from the user. To do that, you can use a straightforward HTML input tag with the type attribute set to file. An example is over here, so it's a very straightforward input tag with type equals file. What this is going to do is essentially pop open the file browser of the user's operating system. The user can then go ahead and click one or more images that they want to upload. Now that the user has uploaded the photo, the next step is how you take this and then send it to your backend. And a very easy way to do that is going to be by using form data. It's pretty much the most common example of sending any form data to the backend, no matter how simple or complex an HTML form is. So in this case, you can take in that file input and then turn it into form data and send it to your backend. When sending it to your backend, the format is going to be just a binary format. So it's going to be pretty much a blob of zeros and ones that the front end is going to send to your backend through the network. You do get some metadata even though this is a binary format. So you can, in your backend, tell the size of the file or the type of the file. You just cannot see the content without actually turning the binary data into some other format. Alright, so at this point, you will have your image all the way from the front end into your backend. Now the question is, how do you store this binary data in your backend? The first thing to note is you never want to store the image directly into the database as binary data. That's because the most important factor here is if you store the whole file, as in the whole image, in your database, it's going to take a huge amount of space. Images nowadays are very large, and even after compression, if you store the binary data, it's going to be a lot of storage that you will be needing in your database. There are other cons to it too, but this is the biggest one I can think of. Because of that, you do not want to directly store the image in your database. Instead, what you want is some kind of a blob storage system or a file storage system. The example we're going to take a look at is called AWS S3. It's a simple file storage that you can use to store any kind of file. In our case, we're going to deal with image file. Almost all other cloud providers do have a service like this, so feel free to look around to see what's the best one for you. But in our example, we are going to use AWS S3. Now let's look at step by step what you want to do in your backend once the image comes and hits your API endpoint. Step 1 is going to be to take that blob and store it in S3 or any other file storage system. To do that in Python is going to be very simple. I do have another video that I uploaded which builds an app using this backend. So if you want to take a look at a more detailed example, I would recommend checking that video out. But coming back to this one, in step 1, you upload the image into S3. To do that, all you need to do is get a reference to your S3 bucket and then just use the upload file object method, giving it the file and the file name. And this will automatically take in the file that your user uploaded and put it in AWS S3 for you. The next step is going to be you want to know where in S3 the file was stored. And to do that, you can recreate the URL where your file is stored right now. This is an example uploaded file URL in S3. The way S3 works is when you upload it using that .file object, this method over here, all S3 is going to do is put the file in this directory. As you can see, we have HTTPS, which is the protocol, and then you have the bucket name. This is going to be the name that you define, so you know this ahead of time. And then you have .s3.amazonaws.com/ and the file name. This file name is going to be exactly the file name you put over here. So as you can see, once you call bucket.uploadFileObject, you don't necessarily need AWS to give you the URL. You can already recreate the URL using information that you already know ahead of time. So in step 2, you go ahead and recreate that URL that your image was just uploaded to. In step 3, now that you have the URL, you want to store it in a database. The reason you want to do that is next time around, when someone wants to view the image, you don't want to be recreating the URL every single time. Instead, you can just go ahead, look at your database, and retrieve the URL. In our case, the database model is very, very simple. We just have something called a photo model, which is an ID, photo name, and photo URL. The photo URL is going to be the URL that you just created over here. And later on, if someone comes and wants to view the photo, you will know the ID ahead of time. So you can just do a simple select query in your photo table and get the photo URL, which you can give to your user to view the image. We're going to take a detailed look at the read pattern in a bit, but essentially that's how it's going to work. So we're still in step 3. This is how it's going to look. So you have the uploaded file URL at the top. This is the URL you're constructing after uploading the image into S3. And then you, in our case, we're using a Postgres database. So we're essentially connecting to the database, getting a cursor, and then doing a simple insert statement, giving it the file name and the photo URL. The ID is auto-incrementing, so we don't really care about it when inserting. And at the end, you can see we're committing the mutation, we're closing the cursor and the connection. At this point, you will have your file uploaded into S3 and the URL of that S3 directory stored in your local Postgres or some other simple database. So that's pretty much sums up how you want to write and then store the image in S3 and your database. Now, the second part we're going to take a look at is how do you read the image now that you have already written it. Step 1 in this is going to be just you read the image URL from your database. If you recall, your database will have 4 columns in this case. The third column is photo URL, which is the URL where your photo has been stored. So if you know the ID or the photo name, you can just look up the photo URL when reading the image. Once you get the URL from your database, you can just straight up send the URL to your front-end application. So essentially, let's say your front-end application does a GET request for photo ID 5. You take a look at this table, ID 5, you're going to get the photo URL and you send it straight back. At this step, you are not interacting with S3 or any other file storage in any way. So step 2 is going to be sending the URL to the front-end application. This is an example of the URL. If you recall, when we talked about constructing the URL, my bucket was called testphotos123. So you have that bucket name, and then you have s3.amazonaws.com. This is a static string. And then / you have the file name, which is what I input when I upload the file to S3. In step 3, now that the browser, in our case Google Chrome, has the image URL. This is the image URL that your backend sent to the front end. Your web client can go ahead and do a simple GET operation to go ahead and download the file from S3 directly. Once your browser downloads the image directly, your user can go ahead and see the image. Even though these look like multiple steps, all these happen almost immediately, so there is no lag that you have to worry about. To sum it up, we're going to look at the full architecture of how the whole thing works. If you look at this picture from the left to the right, to our left, we have the client, the web browser, so Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, or whatever you want. The client, whenever the user wants to upload an image, they are gonna hit a backend API. The backend API is gonna take the image as a binary data blob and then go ahead and upload it to AWS S3. Once it uploads it to AWS S3, you can recreate the URL that the photo was just uploaded to, and then you go ahead and write that URL in your PostgreSQL database. You give it the file name and ID, photo URL, and you just store it on there. Later on, when someone wants to read an image, all your backend needs to do is find the photo URL from the Postgres database, give it back to the client. At this point, the client knows where the images are. They can go ahead and directly call S3 and download the image without you needing to do any of the work. So hopefully that sums up how in a typical application, you can go ahead and store images and then also show them without any hassle. I have a full app build. I'm pretty sure it's the previous video. I'm gonna put a link of that one in this video and also in the description below. So if you want to look at a more detailed end-to-end example, I would recommend checking that out. Otherwise, hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.